Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Vaśtrata Jeshitari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Acharya Srila Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'd like to welcome everyone. So Today, I'm going to speak on the pastimes of Srila Advaita Acharya. His appearance day is coming soon. So my idea was to do a two-part talk. And the first part will be today, and then the second part will continue on Advaita Acharya's appearance day. Now we are beginning our festival season for 2017. We have Advaita Acharya's appearance day. We have Nityananda Trayodashi coming up. Gaura Purnima coming up. One of the best things I like about Krishna consciousness is it's an ever-deepening meditation on these personalities. The appearance day and disappearance day of our acharyas are glorified in the scriptures as giving birth to devotion. So a good exercise is to meditate on these personalities and to read about them and to read about their contributions. And that in turn leads to an ever-deepening meditation. We also started a weekly group, a weekly sangha, where we discuss the pastimes of some of the lesser known personalities, saints who appear in this tradition. And the degree and the depth of bhakti they had was unparalleled. And then when in a particular week we don't have any particular appearance or disappearance, we read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there is, in Krishna consciousness, there is Krishna with his unlimited pastimes, and all of the avatars of Vishnu with their unlimited pastimes. But then you have Lord Chaitanya and his associates and their unlimited pastimes. And it is said that the way to Krishna is through Lord Chaitanya. One who develops attraction for Lord Chaitanya and his associates and his Harinam Sankirtan, he automatically develops Raganuga Bhakti. He develops the love for Krishna and the gopis of Vrindavan, non-different. They being ontologically non-different. So those are some points. So we'll have a two-part talk, and today we'll glorify Advaita Acharya. There are several books written about Advaita Acharya. The first one was by his direct disciple. His name is Ishan Nagara. Ishan Nagara, he was a direct disciple of Advaita Acharya. As a young boy, he would serve Advaita Acharya, so he was privy to his pastimes. And that book is called Advaita Prakash. Then there is another beautiful book called Advaita Mangal. That is written by Hare Dās. Hare Dās was a disciple of son of Advaita Acharya, Achyutananda. Advaita Mangal, the title bears the resemblance to Chaitanya Mangal by Lochandras Thakur. Then there is a book called Premvilas, and that book is written by Nityananda Das. He's a disciple of Mother Janava, Nityananda Prabhu's consort. She named him Nityananda Das, and he wrote this book called Premvilas, in which different pastimes of associates of Lord Chaitanya are described. Of course, we have Chaitanya Charitamrita, our essence, and Chaitanya Bhagavat. So these two books are the standard books on Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. And then there is Chaitanya Chandramrita by Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, and Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natakam by Kavi Karnapur. So these are the 7 basic texts we have for the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And then many of current devotees in the last 200 years have written beautiful commentaries on these from these texts. And that's how we learn about Advaita Acharya. So it is like, what is the purpose of so many more commentaries, or it's like a potato sabji. It can be cooked in 100 different ways. And each one has its own flavor. So many of the current generation of devotees have written about Advaita Acharya. So a little bit about the background. So today we will take up Advaita Acharya's, his tattva, who he is, what is his role in the Krishna consciousness movement, what was his role in Lord Chaitanya's life, his appearance, till the point Lord Chaitanya appears. Till the point Lord Chaitanya appears, and then on Advaita Acharya's appearance day, we will discuss pastimes of Advaita Acharya with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so about approximately 600 years ago, Sadashiva. Sadashiva, what is the difference between Sadashiva and Shiva? Every universe has Shiva, Lord Shiva. And the source of all of those Shivas in millions of mundane universes is Sadashiva. Sadashiva has a planet in Vaikuntha Loka, beyond the realm of matter, beyond the Viraja river. And scriptures describe him as non-different from Hari. He is not under the influence of Tamoguna, as Lord Shiva in every universe is considered to be. And he's the source of all of the Shivas. He has an eternal planet in Vaikuntha Loka, and he's considered non-different than Hari. Just a few basic points about Sadashiva. Sadashiva, looking at the suffering in this Kali Yuga, people being so attached to their minds and senses, and considering it happiness, he went to the shore of the causal ocean, where Mahavishnu, the original Vishnu, Karanavakshay Vishnu, is laying down in a mystic slumber. Sadashiva walks to the shore of causal ocean, and he sits there in yoga asana. Lord Shiva is considered the best of the yogis. He sits down in yoga asana, and for 700 years he practices austerity and meditation on Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu wakes up from his mystic slumber, and he goes to the shore of the causal ocean, and he says, Shiva, Shivji, why are you performing such intense austerities? And Mahavishnu embraces Sadashiva. And as they embrace each other, from their embrace, and that personality comes out roaring, this hunkar they describe in Sanskrit, loudly chanting and praying, Krishna, Krishna. So from this union of, and union not just in physical body, but also in this thoughts and deep meditation of Sadashiva on Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu on Sadashiva, they combine together to become an amazing personality who is also golden in complexion. And his hairs are standing on end. And it is described that they look like kadamba flowers. If you've been to Vrindavan, these are black flowers. When your hair are standing on end, in horipilation, it looks like, resembles that blackish goose pimples on a golden body. And that personality is roaring out loud, Krishna, Krishna. And that personality is Advaita Acharya. Advaita, Advitiya, because he is non-different than Hari. than Mahavishnu. And Acharya, because he will be the preceptor or teacher of devotion, of bhakti. In Lord Chaitanya's Gaura Leela, Advaita Acharya will become one of the emblems or teachers or preceptors of bhakti, how bhakti is done. He will initiate thousands upon thousands of devotees. And his lineage will continue. So this title Acharya comes from this teacher, and Advaita because he's not different than Hari. And in South India there is a deity called Hari Har, this combined form of Hari and Hara. So Hari and Har. So Advaita Acharya is that very same Hari Har. Now this one point about Panchatattva. By worshipping Panchatattva, first of all, why did Lord Chaitanya come in 5 different ways, 5 different forms? First, he wanted to defeat Mayavad, that not everything is one. And then, these 5 personalities, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas. It is described in a beautiful verse. It is Lord, the expansion of Lord as Vishnu, and Sadashiva, Advaita, his expansion as Balaram, Nityananda, his internal energy, Gadadhara, and his devotee energy, devotional energy, Srivas Thakur, who's Narada Muni. So this 5 elements comprises the entire truth of Godhead, or different manifestations of Godhead. So when a devotee chants this mantra, not only it nullifies all of the offenses committed during chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So after every round we chant this mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Not only that it nullifies all the offenses, but it allows the devotee to worship Godhead in its complete manifestation. So that is one principle there. So this personality, as he appeared, Krishna himself appears on the scene, on the shore of causal ocean, and he declares, Advaita, you go and take shelter in Navadvip of Kuvera Pandit and his wife Nabha Devi. I will appear as the son of Jagannath and Sachi. Balaram will appear, and all of my associates will appear in Nadia. Down on the earthly realm, Advaita Acharya's father and mother in this temporal manifestation. His father's name is Kuvera Pandit and his mother's name is Nabha Devi. Kuvera is the same Kuvera who's the treasurer of the demigods. He is considered the king of the followers of Lord Shiva. And Kuvera has an ocean of devotion for Lord Shiva in his heart. One day, Lord Shiva came to Kuvera and said, Kuvera, you ask for anything. I'm so pleased by your devotion. And Kuvera replied that I want you to be my son. Vatsalyaras. Lord Shiva said, so be it. So that Sadashiva, to fulfill that desire of Kuvera, chose him as his father. And Labha Devi is non-different than than the energy, the internal energy of Hari. So, or you can say Parvati. So Kubera Pandit and Labhadevi, they had 6 children, 4 sons and 2 daughters. And their 4 sons, as they became adolescent, they all took sannyas. And they went to pilgrimage and they left their bodies. They never came back. Kubera Pandit and Labhadevi were very sullen and disappointed by that. They traveled to Shantipur and they made a little hut on the bank of the Ganga. And Labhadevi became pregnant again. And in scriptures, if you read our scriptures, the glory of the pregnancy is described, the luster of Labhadevi is described, demigods visiting Labhadevi is described. One day, Labhadevi had a dream. And in her dream, she sees a golden personality doing Harinam Sankirtan with his arms upraised and dancing in the kirtan of Hare Krishna with utmost ecstasy, completely unaware of the external world. And she saw the same Kadamba-like goose pimples on his body. And tears were coming out of his eyes as he was dancing in the kirtan of the holy day. And then Labhadevi sees all of the devatas coming and joining that Sankirtan. And she sees Yamaraj there. And Yamaraj speaks to this personality. He says, Prabhu, this is the age of Kali. You are chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you continue to chant like this, all of the sinful people will be delivered. Everyone will attain Prema just by chanting this Mahamantra. Then what will happen to my dominion in Kali Yuga? What will happen to my seva, my service? And that personality rode. And he rode. And he said, I will descend in Kali Yuga for 2 reasons. By giving this Mahamantra to every living entity, I will make everybody mad with Krishna Prema. And number 2, not only that, I will bring Krishna in this material world in Kali Yuga. I will change the equation given in the scriptures. And Yamaraj, you need not worry. Your dominion will still be maintained. The blasphemers and the atheistic people, you can control them. But anyone who with any faith chant this Mahamantra, they will be delivered. And I will bring Krishna. And saying this, he continued his Sankirtan. He's loudly chanting Krishna, Krishna. Labhadevi wakes up in this divine dream. And in 1434, Labhadevi gives birth to this divine personality. And the priest comes and he says his name will be Advaita, and he will also be known as Kamalaksha, the lotus-eyed one, Kamalaksha. So Advaita's Prabhu's childhood name was Kamalaksha. There are several childhood pastimes described in the scriptures about Advaita Acharya. But you can read them. They describe his learning, they describe his luster, they describe his faith in Hari. There's one pastime when he was about 14 years old. By this time he had completed his education. He had learned grammar, Sanskrit, Vedas, Alankar, all the different branches of philosophy. And he was a Shrutidhar. When he reads or hears something, he could memorize it. At the age of 14, this beautiful pastime is described. There is a big festival of Kali Puja in Bengal. And the local king was supposed to come inaugurate the sacrifice and worship Kali. And his father, Advaita Acharya Prabhu's father, Kamalaksha's father, Kuvera, is the chief priest of the sacrifice. The entire town and many different towns are assembled there. And this gorgeous and elaborate sacrifice, puja, worship of Kali is going on. And everybody, at the conclusion of the sacrifice, everybody stands up and everybody pays obeisances. But Kamalaksha did not pay his obeisances. So Kuvera Pandit says, Kamalaksha, please pay your obeisances. And Kamalaksha, he speaks to Kuvera and he speaks to the entire assembly in the front of the king. And he says, Vyavasaitmika buddhi eke he kurunandana bahushakha yanantascha buddhir vyavasai. He says, according to all the scriptures, only Vishnu is meant to be worshipped. And the Smarta Brahmanas, they all get offended. So there is a debate about who should be worshipped. And Kamalaksha, the main argument Smarta Brahmanas gave, and this is very common, that the supreme is Brahman. And that Brahman takes many different forms of different gods and goddesses. So you can worship anyone and you can attain Brahman. This is the very pantheistic Hindu argument. That the ultimate reality is Brahman. He takes the form of different gods and goddesses. It doesn't matter who you worship. You can worship anybody. And if there is nobody, then you can make your own deity, because he's also Brahman. What difference does it really make? And ultimately, you also become Brahman. And Advaita Acharya, or Kamalaksha, he describes that how by worshipping Krishna, by worshipping from Bhagavatam, he described that how by watering the root of the tree, all of the demigods, Devi Devtas are automatically worshipped. And how the worship of demigods is ultimately done under the influence of illusion and material desires. And it is done avidhi-purvakam. It is done without any rules and regulations. And it is prakrita, it is materialistic. It has no spiritual benefit. The entire assembly was stunned. Of course, the king was offended. And the king says, "You fool, you little boy, do you have any claim to your statements? Can you prove this?" Kamalaksha walked forward and he bowed down and paid obeisances to Kali. Now he is Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. As soon as he paid his obeisances, Kali left the deity and the deity burst into pieces with an explosion. And Kali said, "This is my master. I cannot accept obeisances from him." Soon after that, Kamalaksha left home and went on a pilgrimage. Advaita Acharya's pilgrimage is described in the scriptures. First, he went to Gaya, then he went to Jagannath Puri. And his ecstatic trance and his devotion to Jagannath and he saw the beautiful form of Krishna in the deity of Jagannath. Then he traveled all over South India, and he came to Udupi, where Kamalaksha meets a personality called Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is another Acharya Shiromani. He's the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya accepted Diksha from Ishwarapuri. Ishwarapuri's spiritual master is Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri saw Kamalaksha. Madhavendra Puri taught him the essence of Bhagavatam. He taught him all the scriptures and then initiated him duly in the chanting of the holy name. The importance of initiation in taking the mantra from Shri Guru. Kamalaksha continued his travels, and finally after a long time he came back to Shantipur. When Kubera Pandit and Labhadevi saw him, their life, which was bereft of them, came back. And they said, we were waiting for it. Soon thereafter, a celestial plane comes from Vaikuntha. Kubera Pandit and Labhadevi gets on the chariot, gets on the plane, and they went back to Godhead. And they told Kamalaksha, Kamalaksha, we are very pleased that you came back and with your service. And in front of everybody, they ascended back to Godhead. Kamalaksha, after that, went to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, he toured each and every pastime place where Krishna had his pastimes. He had multiple visions and multiple dreams of Krishna. Finally, he settled in Govardhan. And when he reached Govardhan, his ecstasy knew no bounds. He was intoxicated completely with love of God, chanting Krishna, Krishna, and living like a drunk man, roaming here and there in the forest of Govardhan. One day, Krishna came in his dream, and he said that Kubja used to worship me and made a beautiful deity of mine called Madana Mohan, Radha Madana Mohan. But because of the attack of Muslims, that deity is currently being hidden under the flowers. Please go to the bank of Yamuna, excavate the deity, and I want you to worship him. Then, when you leave Govardhan, give that deity to my devotee, Chaube. Chaube worships me just like his son. I want to go to the home of Chaube and his wife and enjoy the Vatsalya ras of that couple. Kamalaksha took the villages. There is this particular place in Vrindavan on the bank of Yamuna called Dvidashatidya Tila, the mountain. They excavated it and found the beautiful deity of Radha Madan Mohan. And he started the first worship in the current era of Radha Madan Mohan. After that, when Advaita Acharya was ready to depart Vrindavan, sure enough, Chaube came. And he said that I had a dream that my son is here. And Advaita Acharya said, yes, here is your son and here is Radharani. But Advaita Acharya made one more prophecy. He says, Chaube, you may worship me, but soon Rup and Sanatan will come. And Madan Mohan will leave your service and go to Sanatan Goswami. So that deity was worshipped by Chaube. And then there is this huge, beautiful pastime, how Sanatana Goswami comes to Vrindavan. And Madan Mohan comes in his dream and he says, Chaube is worshipping me, but he treats me like a naughty child. Sometimes he binds me up. Krishna does not like to be bound. Sometimes I eat too many sweets, he chastises me. He says, you go and please get me from Chaube. I want to come back here to Govardhan. And I want you to be worshipped. That's the deity worship. So personal, so relatable. All of the emotions are invested in it. So Sanatana Goswami brought it from Chaube, built a beautiful temple for Madan Mohan. That beautiful temple is still there. And Madan Mohan, finally when Aurangzeb came, Madan Mohan went to Karoli in Rajasthan. Beautiful palace for Madan Mohan. And that same Madan Mohan is worshipped in Karoli, just about 2 hours from Vrindavan. Advaita Acharya Prabhu, after his pilgrimage to Vrindavan and Govardhan, and his seminal act of rediscovering Madan Mohan, he goes back to Shantipur, and there he makes his abode. In the period of time, he accepts 2 wives, Sita, Thakurani, and Shri Devi. They were both sisters. The father said, please accept my daughter, Sita, elder daughter Sita. And because I have no dowry, I'll give you my younger daughter as a dowry. Advaita Acharya started his family. Little by little, all of the associates of Krishna started taking their birth in Navadvip. There was Shuklambar, Gangadas, who will eventually play the role of a teacher of Lord Chaitanya. And the Sangha, the devotee association in Navadvip, began to increase. Advaita Acharya Prabhu made a replica of Madan Mohan deity. And he would worship Madan Mohan in Shantipur. He also worshipped Shalagram Shila. And gradually, little by little, the devotee association in Navadvip grew. Srinivas Thakur came with his 3 brothers. Many other Vaishnavas from all over the world came to learn bhakti from Advaita Acharya. He had a school. Advaita Acharya himself had 6 sons. And 5 of them took sannyas. And one of his sons, Achyutananda, is recognized as a wonderful Vaishnava, and his lineage still continues. They call it the Parivar, Advaita Parivar family. His most current descendant travels with Indradyumna Swami in Europe and comes to Polish festival with all of the remnants of Advaita Prabhu. So, but the Vaishnavas were sad. Why were they sad? What they saw was people engaged in materialistic sense gratification, thinking that to be the reality. Whatever scriptures even the Pandits would explain, they would explain in terms of Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. If you do this, you will get this. You do this, you get this. This is how you get son. This is how you get wealth. This is how you remove inauspiciousness. Nobody really taught bhakti or taught devotion. Vaishnavas were ridiculed. They were hated. And especially their loud chanting and their sankirtan was reviled by the Smartha Brahmanas. Even the qualified Brahmanas of that era, they would teach scriptures but there was no current of pure devotional service. Shuddha Bhakti. Simply put, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Karle Sudhar Nischay, Krishna Bhakti Karile Sarva Karma Krita. Nobody taught this basic essential principle, that if you just worship Krishna, everything will be taken care of. And Krishna is the object of worship. So all of the Vaishnavas came together and made a plan to increase Krishna consciousness in their community. Right? Devotees come together. What should we do? How can we expand this movement? So they decided that they will read Srimad Bhagavatam all day. And in the evening, they will do 3 hours of kirtan in Srivas Thakur's house with his brothers. And they got Mukunda, Vasudev, Srivas, all of their brothers. And they started kirtan. What was the result of their preaching strategy? The local Brahmanas and the local people became more antagonistic. They said, these Vaishnavas, before they were doing things in their own home, now they have started this 3-hour kirtan. If the local Muslim kings finds out, he will destroy all of us. This loud chanting will bring nothing but inauspiciousness in this village. We should do one thing. We should break Srivas Thakur's house, throw it in Ganga, and throw his family out of this village. When Advaita Acharya heard this, he manifested his form of Sadashiva. And he loudly chanted, Krishna, Krishna. He says, if any of these Brahmanas again complain or criticize about Srivas, I would manifest my forearms and I would chop the heads of all of these Smartha Brahmanas. But Advaita Acharya maintained a deep sense of despondency within his heart. With that despondency, he would go to the bank of Ganga and taking courage and inspiration from this verse, Patram Pushpam Phalam Thoyam, he would sit on the bank of Ganga and he would offer his flowers and tulasi leaves to Ganga. And he would loudly chant Krishna, Krishna, asking for him to appear. He said that in Kali Yuga, people are so sinful that a partial expansion of the Lord cannot cause their deliverance. Lord, you have to come yourself. And every day, he petitioned Krishna to appear. And his loud cries, they penetrated the coverings of the universe. They went beyond the causal ocean and they went to Goloka Vrindavan. And there, they entered the heart of Krishna, who was also pining for Radharani's love. He says, what is it so special about Radharani? I want to feel her bhava. I want to taste her emotion. I want to possess the bhakti she has. And Advaita Prabhu's pining and his loud cries in this material realm and Krishna's internal pining in the spiritual realm combined together to become Gaura.
Right.
Advaita Acharya, he would offer his flowers and tulasi leaves. One day, he saw that the flowers and tulasi leaves were floating upstream in Ganga. Advaita was bewildered. He put more flowers and tulasi leaves. They again floated upstream. Advaita and Haridas Thakur, they ran behind the flowers. And from Shantipur, they got to Navadvip. And they saw a beautiful lady taking her bath. And the flowers and the tulasi leaves, they circumambulated her belly. And they went and they stuck to her belly. Sachi, was thinking, what is this? Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur loudly did some kirtan and then paid obeisances to Sachi. Sachi is a simple woman. He says, who's this Brahmana paying obeisances to me? She quickly goes to her house and she has a miscarriage. Jagannath Prabhu asked, Sachi, did anything happen? Sachi said, today while I was taking a shower, this effulgent Brahmana came and he started loudly chanting Krishna's name and he paid his obeisances. His obeisances made me have a miscarriage. This happened 6 times. Jagannath consoled Sachi. He said, don't worry, everything is ultimately in Krishna's control. After it happened the 6th time, Jagannath went to Advaita's house and he glorified him.
Oh.
He said, you are the best of the Vaishnavas, you are the best of the Brahmanas, you are the best of the Pandits. Please give us mercy, please give us a child. Advaita Prabhu said, don't worry. You just see what happens. When the 7th time Advaita Prabhu paid obeisances to Sachi Mata, Vishwarup, elder brother of Lord Chaitanya, came out of Sachi's womb. Advaita Prabhu nurtured him, took care of him, taught him the scriptures. Every day, Vishwarup would simply spend time at Advaita Prabhu's home. Advaita Prabhu knew who he was. Advaita Prabhu knew that his prayers are getting answered, that the time for the deliverance of this world is coming to close. When Vishwarup became 14, Jagannath and Sachi, seeing his renunciation and devotion, wanted to get him married. They started putting out feelers. Vishwarup left home the same day. He took sannyas. His name was Shankaranya. He's none other than Balaram. And he never came back. Again, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi were gurus. By this time, another great personality, Haridas Thakur, had come. Haridas Thakur took his birth in a town called Bardhaman, now in Bangladesh. And through a series of events, he came to Shantipur. Advaita Acharya made him a beautiful hut on the bank of Ganga, where Haridas Thakur would chant 300,000 names of Krishna every day. 100,000 names softly on his japa beads. 100,000 names in his mind all the time. And 100,000 names loudly in kirtan. Advaita Acharya, knowing who Haridas Thakur was, Haridas Thakur is a combined incarnation of Brahma and Prahlad. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 13th and 14th chapter, it is described Brahma's offense of stealing the cows of Krishna. Brahma asked for forgiveness, but Krishna said, okay, enough is enough. But he was not pacified. He said, the only way I can expiate myself from this offense is by taking birth in a low-class family and by serving Gaura through the chanting of his holy name. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. Not much is known about his early life, but what is known is that at the age of 5, he left home.
Wow.
And until that time, he only survived on drinking milk. He never took anything which was not offered to Krishna. Haridas Thakur gets to Shantipur, and Advaita Acharya makes him a beautiful cave on the bank of Ganga, and he would personally bring him prasad every day. Haridas Thakur didn't care whether he ate or he didn't eat. But Advaita Acharya Prabhu, after making offering to Madan Mohan, he would bring the prasadi and he would give to Haridas Thakur every day. And they both will engage in Sankirtan every day. One day Advaita Acharya Prabhu did a Shraddha ceremony of his parents. Shraddha ceremony of his parents. All of the Brahmanas of the town are sitting, and Advaita Acharya Prabhu took the remnant, the Mahaprasad of the Lord, and took it to Haridas Thakur. He invited Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur said, Prabhu, I'm lower than a dog. how can I come inside your house? But because you are inviting me, I will sit outside your gate like a dog and I will watch guard. Advaita Acharya Prabhu took the Mahaprasad and took it to Haridas Thakur. And all of the Brahmanas are waiting for the food. Smarta Brahmana said, this is blasphemy. Now today you have exceeded all limits of our tolerance. We see that you associate with this low-class people and you chant Hare Krishna. But do you not know our glories? And what is this? That you invited us and you're insulting us like this? Advaita Acharya Prabhu explained that feeding Haridas Thakur is more than feeding 1 million Brahmanas like you. One who chants the holy name of Krishna is real intelligent. No matter how many good qualifications one person has, if he doesn't chant Hare Krishna, he's no better than stool and urine. And he quoted the scriptures, and he recited the scriptures. That in this Kali Yuga, it is the chanting of the holy name which determines who's qualified and who's not qualified. Brahmanas, of course, did not buy that and cursed Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur and left. Advaita Acharya said to Haridas Thakur, Haridas, just to maintain social convention, can you show them a little trifle bit of your power? For the next 2 days, none of Brahmana's fire would get alighted. Neither when their wives would cook, the fire would come. Hungry, thirsty, they came back to Haridas Thakur asking for forgiveness. Haridas Thakur took a little piece of grass and with that he lighted the fire. It's considered Vishnu, fire, mouth of Vishnu. He said, now you go and be happy. I don't want to see you in any anxiety. From that day, nobody disturbed Advaita Acharya and Haridas. So, at this point in Navadvip, all of the associates of Lord Chaitanya have taken birth. Advaita Acharya Prabhu is 52 years old. We are in 1486, and then Gaura will appear. Now we'll discuss the pastimes of Advaita Acharya with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on Advaita Acharya's appearance. So we have 7 minutes.
So Advaita Acharya didn't bow down to Kali. So what is our take on offering obeisances to demigods?
Our Acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur says, I will not see the face of anyone who offer worship to demigods. This is the take of our Acharyas. A devotee means only worshipping Krishna. And that just does not apply only to the deities. It is psychological also. That only Krishna and Gaura. That's what a devotee means. And Guru. And that includes everything. 2 famous verses from Bhagavatam. One who waters the root of the tree, he automatically branches all the things. And the second verse from Bhagavatam, that if you have to take your food, just put it in the stomach. And by taking food in the stomach, everything is done. There's nothing else needed. So that is the take of a devotee. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, when they went on their South Indian tour, they visited temples of Shiva. When they visited Varanasi, they visited the temple of Bindu Madhava, they visited the temple of Vishwanath Kashi. And they did kirtan. And they were in ecstatic love, looking at Lord Shiva as the highest Vaishnava. Demigods are servants of Krishna. They can be respected in that way, within one's mind. One can pray to demigods for increasing one's Krishna bhakti. Srila Prabhupada very clearly told his disciples, do not worship any demigods. despite immense pressure from the Hindu Bindu people to do so. One time a disciple writes, Srila Prabhupada, all of the local donors are saying that if we do not worship Ganesh, our temple will not be built. Srila Prabhupada said, that is fine. If you promise to send me $100,000 every month, you can worship Ganesh. The disciple promptly dropped the idea. Is Radha Krishna, Gauranita, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Narsingha Dev, is our Guru Parampara not enough? Narottam Das Thakur was challenged by Smartha Brahmanas about demigod worship. He said, one drop of dust from the lotus feet of my Guru is more than 33 million demigods of this world. To hell with your worship. Haridas Thakur was told that you chant the name of Allah once and I'll let you go. He said, you can break my body into a million pieces and every piece will still chant Hare Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. So yes, we can pray to Lord Shiva. Of course, in Vrindavan, we go to all the temples of Shiva. He is a top Krishna. They're all his servants. So, Prabhupada also made a point about that every preaching endeavor is a dynamic social activity. If I put a deity of Ganesha in my home, 10 other people will come and they will say, well, Premvilas has a deity of Ganesha, it's okay for me to put one. 50 years later, there is another deity, then there is another deity. In 200 years, it will be again a hodgepodge. Our acharyas, the reason they wrote so many books was to distinguish karma and jnana from pure devotional service. The reason they wrote so many books and they illustrated the principles of bhakti was to distinguish and differentiate and to discriminate. Any other thoughts or discussion about this? Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Acharya Srivasati Gaur Bhakta